Considering moving to Houston? Well, some people may not want to live in Houston. For many years, I was like, I'm not moving to Houston. I'm not living there. And my husband was the same. We were last in Austin, Texas, and my husband had gotten a job here because he was burned out on his other job. And he literally lived here part-time and would go back to Austin to our house with us on the weekends. And it was stressful, but we both were like, no, we really love Austin. And yeah, I love Austin. It's wonderful. But eventually he finished doing what he was doing and could not do anymore for the job that he was doing. Had to come back and found another job in Austin, but it didn't last. So it put us in a position to where we had to sell our house and rent in Austin, hoping within the time of the equity that we've gotten in the house would sustain us through getting another job in the Austin area. So I have to tell you that a job was not found. And during that time, I was doing farmers markets, and my husband was like, hey, I'm gonna do some real estate school. I'm like, well, I'll do that too, you know. We could do real estate together. Well, he eventually, you know, stopped doing that, and we got to the point to where, you know, our money was running out and we had family in Houston, and we're like, we're just gonna move in with family and get a job here, because obviously we know there's jobs in Houston much more readily than in Austin. And so we moved in with family, and I was continuing my real estate while my husband was, you know, looking for work. And then I eventually stopped because I couldn't get somebody to be my, what do you call it? You have to have a person be there watching you while you take your tests. And I didn't know anybody. And you're not allowed to have family or friends do it. So at the same time, I was also like, I know nobody in Houston. I don't know the streets. I don't know anything here. So I kind of gave up on it. Then my husband got a job, temporary job, and then found a more sustainable job. And we looked all over the place for homes and eventually came back to the same neighborhood as the relatives lived in, which was perfect because it had everything we wanted. It had a beautiful green belt. It was close to family. And our other main criteria that we wanted was a swimming pool. Of course, my obsession, swimming pools, but it makes for a great family and summertime gathering place when you know, don't like to go out a lot or you don't know the area. But it gets pretty warm here, so the pool is really awesome. So I don't know how long it was, but I was like, you know, I need to finish my real estate, because I was doing some farmers markets here, but you know, I'd been doing it for like 7 or 8 years, and I was like burned out. I'm like, I'm ready for something different, something better. And I finally decided to finish it and take my big test. And I got a neighbor to be my proctor. That's what it was called, proctor. Passed that and started getting into real estate. And literally just by going all over the place, showing houses, doing open houses, or you know, visiting different people thinking about selling or buying. It's just, you start going all over town and you start learning your area just by driving there. So it's cool. I still have found that there are not just 1 or 2 communities. There's growing communities like Cypress and Katy, which are major growing communities near me. But there are awesome, really cool little pockets of neighborhoods all over West Houston, different cities. So it's hard to choose one. My husband said, if we weren't here, where else would you want to live? I'd be like, I don't know. I mean, there's lots of cool places, but you know, I'm already here and we already are where we want to be. So we're just going to stay and make our house better and do what we can to, you know, enjoy and make our quality of life better exactly where we are. Because, you know, the grass is not always greener on the other side. Or it is, and you gotta spend all that money to transfer and move a house from one neighborhood to the next. And, you know, you may have gained equity, but the prices have risen too. So it's just, you're really not, you know, gaining anything from moving from neighborhood to neighborhood. My philosophy is always, once you get somewhere, make sure you pick the best possible location and home that's going to work for you. Obviously, if you want to upgrade or get a bigger giant house at some point because you're doing better in life, or you want to downsize for different reasons, that makes sense. But just moving to move when you can invest it in your house and in your family and vacations and education for your kids. And sometimes people say, are you a selling agent or a buyer's agent? Well, a real estate agent, we can sell homes, we can buy homes, and we could lease a home. And I get exhilarated by, you know, doing all the paperwork and making sure everything gets done and making sure everybody gets what they need to get and where they need to get to. So yeah, kind of. Anyways, hope everyone's having a beautiful day and talk to you next time.